Ghose was the director of the National Institute of Securities Markets, an educational initiative of the Securities and Exchange Board of India. He provided strategic leadership in of excellence, engaged in securities education, research, certification of market intermediaries, corporate governance, investor education, and financial literacy. He also oversaw the School of Regulatory and Supervisory Studies, which act as a staff college for SEBI officers. Prior to taking over as a director of NISM, Mr. Ghose was the head of human resources in Reserve Bank of India. A central banker by profession, Mr. Ghose was the chief of staff and advisor to three successful RBI governors, Dr. C. Rangarajan, Dr. Bimal Jalan, and Dr. Y.V. Reddy, over a period of 9 years, that is 1996 to 2004. He also served as a principal of College of Agricultural Banking, Pune, and regional director of the RBI, Delhi. Mr. Ghose has received several prestigious awards, including honorary doctoral degree by the EIILM University, Sikkim. Mr. Ghose is a member of board of national and international business schools and companies. Dr. Sandip Ghose is currently the director in National Institute of Securities Markets. Prior to joining NISM, he was the head of Human Resource Management Department in the Reserve Bank of India. KPR College of Arts, Science and Research is extremely happy and proud to have such an eminent personality with us today. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome Dr. Sandip Ghose.
A glorious welcome opens your mind, heart and soul to learn and discover. We would like to call upon Dr. A. Shanti, Head, Department of Commerce, to welcome the gathering.
Respected guest speaker of the session, Dr. Sandip Ghose sir, CEO of Institution, Dr. S. Balasamy sir, Deans, Coordinator of this event, Heads of the Department, faculty, friends and my dear students, very good afternoon all, and welcome you all to this National Level Congress on role of higher education institution on SDG. So in this occasion, we are assembling here for the session 3, and the session is going to be on role of financial intermediaries. In this occasion, I take this opportunity as a great honor to welcome the guest speaker of the session, Dr. Sandip Ghose sir, former director NISM Mumbai, to the session. So we are really happy and honored by your presence. Welcome you, sir. Next, I welcome our principal ma'am in her absence. Next, I welcome our CE, Dr. S. Balasamy sir, to this session. I welcome Dean School of Commerce, Dr. K. Kumara Devi ma'am, coordinator of this event, Dr. Pradeepa ma'am and Anand sir, and all the faculty friends, heads of the department to this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, for your warm welcome. Words of a revered person have incredible power. We are so proud to call upon Dr. Sandip Ghose, former director, NISM Mumbai, to take over the session.
Dr. Balasamy, the heads of the departments, senior faculty, and dear students. So, welcome to the session. I know presentations are always difficult, and they say PowerPoint. I don't see any power or point, because what happens is, to make the presentation more visible, we tend to reduce the light. AC is there, and it's a very good way of going to sleep. So it is a difficult thing, and I normally don't do power presentation, but Mr. Anand had suggested that it's an afternoon session, you may want to look at it. So last night I prepared something for you, which is in the form of a presentation. I would like to talk principally in three segments. One would be to give you the current status of what SDGs actually mean and are, and where are we vis-a-vis the globe. Second is about the huge role which the financial intermediaries play. And third, and the most important part, is how as students of a college, you can play a role in trying to ensure that SDGs get implemented over a period of time. See, most of us who are either your faculty or come here as speakers, we have by and large crossed 50, 60, 70% of our time on this planet. So whatever we do is for your future. And if you want a strong future, you need to look at some of these things which will help you. So this is very simple, that SDGs were something which were decided in Paris in 2015. We are a signatory to it. There are basically 17 SDGs, and these SDGs are measurable. All other sustainable development indicators which came before SDGs were not measurable. So these SDGs now have, each individual SDG has a target, and if you can achieve some of those targets, it can show you where you are in that SDG. So for example, before the SDGs, we used to have MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. This was launched in 2000. This was also for 15 years, but it had one single goal, and that goal was remove poverty to the extent of 50% from the globe. That was the major central theme of MDG. Good or bad, we were able to achieve that. 50% poverty got removed. In fact, world was under great stress because the consumption of food grain had increased multifold, mainly because people were coming out of poverty. But at the same time, there were also too many inequalities between the goals, and they were not interconnected. Main focus being, so they got together, did an analysis of MDGs, and then decided that this alone, MDGs were also for developing countries. It was not for the developed world. So it was one way, those who have got developed will help the developing world to get themselves developed. And unfortunately, what happens is that if you get dependent on aid, then your natural strategies you start to lose. And that is what started happening in MDGs, that people got actively dependent on international aid from multilateral institutions and did not do any budgeting or anything on their own. So it was, SDGs was very clear, it is for the globe, it is for the planet, it is not for developing countries. Number one. Number two, each goal are interconnected. That if you were able to do well, let us say in goal number 4, which was basically providing quality education, then maybe gender and inequality would automatically get reduced. If you were able to provide good consumption and production, maybe poverty and hunger would go. So these were interconnected. These are the 17, you already have it in front of you. For reference, it is always good that keep on there. The challenge in this 17 is if you are suppose you are told to adopt one, what will you do? So for example, I am asking you, behind you. You can stand up. If you are told to adopt one goal, which one will you do? First one. First one the MDG has already done. What will you do about it? Use the mic. No, he has a mic. What will you do about it? How will you remove poverty? So this is an indicator that you have to get together, and it doesn't require the intervention. Please sit down. It doesn't require the intervention of your teachers or the college. You are in a good college. Get together yourself in your free time when you are not busy with this guy. When you are not busy with this guy, you can settle down together and decide what can I do while I am here. Whether I can take the responsibility. So, my son went to a college which used to have that every student will plant a tree. And they had a huge strip of land and then the students were supposed to take care of their tree even after they moved out of the college. And I still find my son passed out somewhere, he did his management somewhere in 2007. Even after 16 years, he keeps on going back to Pune at least once to see whether the tree has grown or not. So you have to take a call of something like that. One big challenge which we are facing in colleges today is waste management. And one of the biggest challenges is food waste. The food which is surplus, is there a mechanism to handle that? So until and unless you start thinking about it, the sustainable goals will only be in paper. So in 2015, they took a decision that it will be a concerted effort. All the goals will be interlinked. And we will try to see that the countries will have to create their budgets as to what amount of resources they are ready to allocate to each of these sustainable goals. Any idea what is the gap today in India? Any idea what is the gap today in India with the sustainable money, the amount required gap? It is $2 trillion. So the 2030 has already shifted. Where? Where has 2030 shifted? It's a small slide since the presentation would be available to you. I made it last night, so I could not decide on the font. So I gave it to him. He has increased it slightly, but it's still difficult to read. But this is which are the financing agencies for SDGs. So when you get the presentation, please have a look at it and see what is the role. And it is the country, it is the private sector, it is the multilateral agencies, it is partnerships between countries. All of them together have to pitch in if sustainable development goals have to be met. These are the 6 themes which the Government of India, Niti Aayog, which is the new name for Planning Commission, is the central body which is defining how to go about to manage sustainable goal. And the statistical department, Ministry of Statistics, is managing the indexing. Do you know where does Coimbatore figure in this sustainable development somewhere? Any idea? Any student, any idea where Coimbatore fits in? You will be lucky. It is among the 7 cities which has achieved till now all aspects of sustainable development. Among the 7 cities. Rather, it is the second best city currently, which has achieved all the parameters. Why are we doing this SDG conference now? Any idea? Why are we doing the SDG Congress now? Because we are exactly in the middle period of assessment. It started in 2015, the goal was 2030. We are exactly 2023, the UNDP report will come out and tell us where we are. But before that, we are trying to make people conscious where they are, where SDGs are concerned. These are programs, innumerable programs have been launched from 2015 just to manage the SDGs. And bulk of them are being financed by banks. Bulk of them, banks and insurance. To the extent, which was the mega program for banks, access to banking, students? Which was the mega program launched for, it is mentioned here also, but any idea which was the mega program for banks which was launched for providing access? All of you have heard it, but it's not coming to you because it's currently under the weight of rice and sambar. So it was Jan Dhan Yojana, and Jan Dhan Yojana introduced crores of people into the formal banking system to be able to access finance, equitable finance. So all these programs, wherever they were created only to manage sustainable goals. And in that, reduce inequality, reduce poverty, remove hunger completely, and provide a good and just life to the citizens of the country. So currently this is the status. I did not read. For the globe, the date has already shifted from 2030 to 2078 for meeting the SDGs. For India, it has already shifted from 230 to 259. And this may keep one jolt of COVID move the dates by close to 15 years in developing countries and 18 years in the case of developed countries. Just one jolt of COVID. So this is a difficult, it is not just because we have enumerated it, we are trying our best. It remains to be a major concern, and the concern is from the financing of SDGs. That is the biggest concern. How do you finance SDGs? In the ranking, this is how it is currently placed. We are 121 out of 163. Now 6 more countries have joined, so it has become 169. And among the states, Kerala and Tamil Nadu hold number 1 and number 2 position where implementation of SDG is concerned. And among the cities, you would notice immediately after Shimla, Coimbatore is there. These are some of the cities which were picked up out of hundreds of cities in India which have been able to cover the sustainable development goals. This is recommendation for higher education institution, and this is the space where the students have to participate and play a role over and above, because coming to college only to study does not make too much sense in the 21st century. You have to do something more beyond studies. And this, if you are able to get into any of this, it generally adds tremendous value into your personality. None of you are doing it, but today if you were wanting to go and study abroad, one of the things which will be looked at your profile, what else did you do beyond your studies? So can you do something like this, create a symbiotic relationship with the local community? Or the last one, find a day in a month where they can use your library and Wi-Fi. Food wastage remains to be a big issue. So these are the financing gaps. And how does it start? The global gap is more than 4 trillion. So what they are now saying that instead of focusing on the 160 plus targets, if you focus on 40 targets within the SDGs, maybe the achievement levels would be much faster and much better. Rather than to approach all the 17 with 160 plus targets, because that way you will be able to increase the return on the rupee. If the return on the rupee was 7 rupees for 1 rupee, then it can go up to 21 rupees, and you should be able to manage the general thing at a much faster pace. We can note this off. So this was about the status of SDGs as on today. Where we are, what we are doing, how they were different to MDGs. Because if you are talking about sustainable goals, then you should have some basic idea of sustainable goals. Otherwise, it is something in the air which you are talking. Now, what are the roles, which is the biggest contributory program by the financial intermediaries in the space of sustainable goals? You have to tell me. Which is the biggest contributory, which provides, and it is not from today, it is from 1970. That program is there. So one of the biggest programs which the financial intermediaries provide, beyond supporting many of the programs which the government of India does, are by the banks. Banks have a priority sector lending. The whole priority sector is nothing but financing of SDGs. What is the amount of finance which the bank provides in priority sector lending? Hey, some of you have to respond, otherwise you'll go to sleep. I'll have to do something to make you wake up. 40% of adjusted net bank credit. Can you imagine 40% of net bank credit goes to this sector? Whether it is agriculture, whether it is small business, whether it is the difficult space of managing inequality, SME, all this sector gets 40% of the banking credit at a concessional rate. And then each of this credit is also backed by an insurance scheme. So this is in general one of the biggest component of financing of SDGs by the financial intermediaries. The second major part, which has been a challenge to India, but the first 15 years of the new century, was financial inclusion and financial literacy. I understand you have also done some programs of financial literacy and financial inclusion, including investor awareness. How many of you commerce students participate in the capital market? Any one of you participate in the capital market? But you don't do any trading and all? Anyone? Nobody does any trading. How come? So only studies. So if I was to ask, what is the contribution of the capital market intermediaries in the SDGs? Any idea? Which intermediary in the capital market provides support to these SDGs? These are companies known as AMCs, Asset Management Companies. And they manage asset of you and me. We provide them the funds, they manage the asset, they grow these assets, and 2% of their net profit has to be spent in educating people or training people or certifying people to be able to generate their own wealth. Any idea what this 2% is about? How much? Any idea? So today it runs close to 1,000 crore every year. This money is available for doing programs in investor education, financial literacy, certifying people in the space of mutual funds and other certificates, training people in that space, and lot of institutions today take on this fund to do these activities. You can do the programs and claim the reimbursements from the AMCs. So they provide their own support. On their own, many of the banks have also adopted specific projects in, are you familiar to green bonds? Last budget, in the current budget, there was some amount of money which was there in the presentation also. What is the amount which was provided in the current budget for raising green bonds? So till 22, we have raised around $22 billion green bond, and the current budget has 16,000 crore to be raised by the Reserve Bank of India on behalf of the Government of India in the form of green bonds. These green bonds are contributed by institutions to finance small businesses and industries which are sort of green financing. They don't generate carbon waste, or they generate low carbon waste. And that is one of the things to encourage one of the SDGs, where you get clean energy and clean business to grow. I think that other presentation, so you can play it from your side, because I can't play it with this.
Here itself I will play, sir.
Huh?
Here itself I will play, sir.
But can I stop it with this? If it is playing, can I stop it with this?
No, sir. No, sir.
I can't stop it with
No.
this. Okay. So just to get you, I think it is becoming, I can see a lot of people closing their eyes. So can you give me a mic, please? So you will say now it's become difficult. First it was difficult listening to him. Now he's come close and is wanting to disturb the sleep. So this line will get up. All of this line. Stand up. The last line will get up on both sides. Just stand up. Stand up and face this side. The last line, all of you get up on the last row, wherever you are. This side also. Last row. Last row, please get up. Get up, get up. Good. Last but one has to get up. No? Last but one. Okay. And the last row there. Please get up. Others need not talk. I think one formula you need to adopt. If you are coming for a session, don't sit with your friends. Sit with somebody whom you don't know. Okay? Make a circle. This row also has to get up. Similar to this row, please get up. I want a circle. Two of you come here. Come here. Okay. Start counting. One, count. Hey, stand in the circle, yeah. Hey, get enthusiastic, you. Why can't you get up? Please. Hey, one person here. Fill up his now. Start counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Loudly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 24.
Loudly. $58. Hey, loudly. If I leave you outside, you will shout. Over here, your voice is not coming. 71. So we have 71 students in a circle. I want you to speak loudly whenever your turn comes. Okay? So, okay. Those who are sitting, please don't talk. Please. So what we are suggesting is, you counted 71 in close to 1.5 minutes. That I think they will not do, but that they will not be able to do it with the mic. So, you counted 71 in a period of 1.5 minutes. I want to just bring about a small change. So let us say every multiple of 3, you will clap. Every multiple of 3 you will clap. Or you will listen. Huh? Those who are not playing should please not murmur. Otherwise they will not be able to listen. Multiple of 3 you will clap and the count will go on. Is it alright? So start there. Start from 1. Start from 1. Hey, 1 को clap नहीं करना है, multiple of 3 को clap करना है. Is it not clear? Can you explain it to them?
Dear students, you have to clap on the multiple of 3. 1, 2, clap.
4, 5 clap. Not everybody जिसका turn है. Okay.
Turn wise you have to do this activity.
And you do it. I just want you to see. See, sustainable goal is a very big goal. I am just asking you to count. Can you count one circle? If you can count one circle, I will feel you can do sustainable goal. Can you do that? Okay. Can you try? Huh? So start from there. Start from, have you understood? Multiple of 3 will clap and will not say the sound. Continue. Can't say 9. Huh? Can't say 9. 9 is a multiple. No, don't look at him. Take responsibility. Okay? Start from here. Count 1.
You have to clap, don't say 12.
If
It's a
you say
multiple.
12, so you can understand how difficult sustainable goals would be. You are unable to take one command. You are unable to take one command that multiple of 3 will clap. So are we good for it to do one round? Are we good? Yes, loudly. No, more loudly. Is there voices to that extent?
Students, can we please expect you all to burst out of your energies? Please respond properly.
Start from here, come this way. you are clapping. How can it be? Okay, we will do one last time. We will do one last time. If you can't do it, I will lose heart that you can move in sustainable goals. Let's count from here and go this way. Okay, sit down, sit down. It's not happening. Well, no point in getting excited, nothing happened. You are not able to complete a circle. So minimum you can do is to keep quiet. You were not able to complete a circle. Whenever you get time, please try this exercise. This exercise we do in change management. If you want to change, by just introducing a small factor of change, that the multiple of 3 will clap, you can't do it. So how will you change? You have to change to be able to implement these things. It will not happen on its own. So please understand that change. We make this statement every day. That if you don't change, nothing can happen. But are you capable of changing is what is the most important part. How do the insurance what fund do the insurance agencies use to finance SDGs? What fund do the insurance agencies use to finance SDGs? Any idea? Where do they get these funds from? One of the big funds which they do to promote insurance. One of the big funds which they do to promote insurance is unclaimed premiums. Unclaimed premiums. And this runs into thousands of crores. Similarly, bank has unclaimed deposits. Do you know a deposit which is managed by the Reserve Bank of India, which is known as DEF? DEAF. And it is Depositors Education Awareness Fund. This is currently around 20,000 crores. And these funds are available to non-government agencies or trusts or foundations to take from the Reserve Bank to promote education in how to manage your deposits. Why is it that people don't claim? Where does this unclaimed deposit come from? How is an unclaimed deposit arises in the banking sector? Because there was no nomination provided to these. So these depositors' education go about providing a huge amount of, and there are agencies. There is a national agency for promoting financial education, which is supported by all the financial regulators, and their principal work is to just promote education in the space of finance, so that a day-to-day person, see, you all are lucky. I would say lucky, because across the globe, people at your age are both studying and working. I am on the board of a number of global institutions where postgraduate study is not funded, is no local. For example, if you are in the US, any postgraduate program, 98% of the students are international students. Only 2% students can fund their postgraduate studies in the US, which is a developed country. The basic education over there is class 10. In India, basic education is graduation. If you throw a stone, you may hit either a graduate or an engineer or an MBA. We have them in surplus number. So this is a luxury actually, that you are able to come to a graduate school and study. So the best thing is to make the best of it. Now, in your own way, one thing which they decided globally is what you are not using, just give it away. Don't store it in your house. Every household, if we just try to take out the things which they are, donate what you don't use, is one of the biggest cardinals for the youth. 38% of the youth of the globe are in India. What is the definition of youth in India? From what age to what age? Loudly, anybody, what is the definition of youth? The definition of youth as defined by IMF is between 14 to 24. As defined by Indian government, it is 14 to 29. So all of you are as a part of youth and part of that 35 to 38% of the population, which the SDGs feel will contribute maximum in trying to create a better future. Other was, how do you support local farmers? There is a college, I remember there is a college in management college, SDM, no. There's a management college in Coimbatore, which has provided its full boundary wall to local farmers who can come, and on the boundary wall they've created these shells. So every day the farmers can come in the morning, put their vegetable and fruits there. It is bought by the students of that college. It is bought by the faculty of that college, and outsiders also have started using it. This is just providing a space to the farmers to come and sell their produce within the city. Huh? There is a college, I don't recollect, I've been there, but it is in Coimbatore, very close to the airport. Because we wanted to create a finance lab there where students could do trading. So they set up the finance lab and we have come to test it. So I remember there was a college and I saw this activity and then they told me the details about that activity. How many of you can actually get together and create a small community among the community where you stay to teach the local students who don't have an opportunity to study? Believe me, across the globe people are doing this. Somehow in India we have decided, ye hamara kaam nahi hai. This is not my work. But across the globe they are doing it. That those who are privileged to have got an education try to teach the slum students or the students of the help who come to their house and make them citizens who can mix with the general citizens. Otherwise they are unable to get and mix with the general citizens. So the important part of studying SDG is that if you are a community, a big community, 38% of the community, then you have to start contributing for SDGs. If you don't contribute, then this 2059 will move further. Just 3 days back, there was a global conference on water. They say, and they don't say this lightly, that wars in the future will be fought for water. Those who are staying in Tamil Nadu already know that the water scarcity is very, very high. And pure drinking water is becoming more scarce. I stay in Bombay since the last 25, 28 years, and I use bottled water. Because otherwise, all the high rises, the water is from the tankers, and you don't know where they get this water from. So water is a crisis, but we don't seem to, as youths, if you inculcate these habits today, how to stop wastage of water, how to recycle water, how to rain harvest the water, then only things will happen. Otherwise, we will constantly be discussing this. You are very few colleges. I think this is a rare occasion that I have come to a college which is doing a 5-day program on SDG. Imagining that some of this will go to you. Some of this you will start appreciating. 5-day program. It's a very critical subject. Each and every part of SDG is very, very critical. But if you just leave it, it is going to be there. One of the things which they say that which youth should inculcate, critical thinking, change makers, innovators, communicators, and leadership. Then only future nation builders will be created. If you don't have these qualities, no problem. It can be developed, but the urge for development has to come from you. It is not necessary that you will have all these qualities, but the urge to get to have these qualities will come from you. So, financial intermediaries play very strong role in SDG 1, SDG 2, SDG 4. What is SDG 4? You can read it. Quality education. So SDG 4, it is very, very, and then the gender equality. How many of you women over here actually do any investing? You don't have money. So when we used to do these financial literacy program in the villages and tell them to save, so they would tell us कि सर पैसा होगा तो save करेंगे, but पैसा होता है. We actually do a program known as the first pay check. On the day you get your first check after getting placed from here, you have to decide what to do with that paycheck. And if you decide on that day, finances for the future are well laid out. Otherwise, teaching community, they say you don't manage your finance at all. I don't know how many of you actually manage. Do you manage your finance?
Yes.
Very well. So, when I say manage your finance, I mean that the day you retire, will you be able to generate the same amount of money which will be your last take-home salary on the date of your retirement? That is managing finance. In whichever sector you are, if you want to be known, if you want to stay comfortable, you should be able to generate your last pay as an income from your retirement fund. If that is there, life is good. Otherwise, on the day you retire, you will start reducing your lifestyle from that day. And that is no reason. If you have worked for so many years and you have to retire in that way. So, SDGs will remain to be a part. There is a possibility after 15, 20 years they may bring in another name. But all these 17 SDGs will remain. Do you know which are the SDGs which are best financed by the banks or by the financial intermediaries? There are 4 of them. One is SDG 1, SDG 2, SDG 3 and SDG 16. Currently, these are the focus for financing by the banking sector. Any bank in India which you know does any activity in SDG? Which bank? Gentlemen, all 3 of you have beards, so the center one. Which bank do you bank with? Who's your banker? You have a bank account? No, you don't have a bank account. How? You didn't open a Jan Dhan account also. You can open a zero balance account these days. You don't need to keep money in your bank. You can go to a bank and open a zero balance account. You don't have a bank, really? You have a bank? Yes. No. So parents have a bank, you don't have a bank. Hey, all of you should open a bank account at least. What is the use of having a zero balance account if you cannot open a bank account? So tomorrow if Dr. Balusamy decides to give you a scholarship, will it go to your parents' account? Where will that scholarship go? Now the Modi Sahib has closed cash also. Please open a bank account. That is the first thing which you need to do. All of you should have a bank account, whichever bank it is. Even if it is a cooperative bank, a small finance bank, you can just go and open a bank account. And you say, I want a zero balance account, where no balances are required. So until and unless you open a bank account, how are you going to? So those people who are getting placed in the 4th year, some students are getting placed, I understand, and will be leaving the campus very shortly. Where do you plan to keep your salary? Or you want to insist the company to give it to you in cash? For the youths, awareness, understanding and action. For example, when we used to teach financial literacy, we will say financial literacy leads to financial education or financial inclusion, and financial inclusion leads to financial freedom. Similarly, for the youths to understand SDGs, you have to first be aware of it, then understand it, and then get into action. But until and unless you get into action, who's your popular cricketer? Yes. Kohli. But most of you, I find, are only sitting and clapping when he is hitting a 6. When do we start clapping for you? You have to be the doer, not the viewer. Most of us sit and clap. When they are hitting 6s, we are sitting and having chips and Coca-Cola and clapping. So those guys are playing and we are putting on weight. Nothing else. So SDG can only happen if you get into action. If you don't get into action, you'll only talk about it, read about it, and that will be end of story. So I'm not elaborating it further, but until and unless the youth get into the space of SDGs, it is not going to happen. And you have the luxury today because you are not in the pressure for earning a living. So you can take out time. Those who are in the pressure of earning a living, they need to do multiple things. You don't need to do multiple of things except to come to the college, study and give an exam. So you can take out time. So next time when we meet, I would expect many of your students would have started getting into activities where you can feel proud and say, I am also doing this. This is my contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals. So that's all from my side. I don't feel I can add any value to what has been said by the previous speakers today, one on the education policy and other on the governance of the whole education. But in the space of SDG, and since you are commerce students, many of you, at least bulk of you, if you have to get into the space, commerce is the most thriving subject today because India is on autopilot. Businesses are doing great. With all political uncertainties, our businesses, our stock markets are doing exceedingly well. Return on money in India today is among the highest in the globe. So if you as commerce students cannot think about these things, it should be part and parcel of you to think about financial literacy, financial education, personal finance. What do these people in the financial intermediaries, whether they are from the banking, capital market, insurance, pension, what do they do? Why do they generate so much money? Any idea what is debt, what is equity? Anybody? What is debt, what is equity? So you'll have to get into this to be able to appreciate and understand the role of financial intermediaries in the SDGs. You will have to open up your studies a little more and do a lot of referencing on your own. Maybe they are not directly linked to the subjects in your class, but as commerce students, as students of BCom, you will require that. So we'll end by playing the video. I don't feel the whole hall can participate, but the first four, I don't want others to give the answer, but I want the first 4 rows to focus on the video and try to give me the answer. Okay, first 4 rows. Other rows can have a look at the video, but please don't talk. Let the first 4 rows concentrate and give you the answer. Please don't talk.
This
Don't play. Let me play.
So like just wait. So.
Can you remove it? Can I request the others to please keep quiet so the first 4 rows can concentrate? Please. See, this one, you would be able to contribute 10 times more if you could just listen. First 4 rows, please concentrate on the screen. But how do I stop it?
is an aware.
If I press again, it will stop. Can I request you to please keep quiet?
In this test,
Kind, cooperate, maintain
how
silence
many
every
passes does
The first 4 rows can see the screen. Say yes loudly. Okay. Can you see the players in black and white? Both these players have basketball in their hands. The black has 1 basketball and the white has 1 basketball. Huh? You can see? So what will happen when the game starts? As it is written there, how many passes does the team in white make? That is to say, The white will give the ball only to white, and the black will give the ball only to black. To make your life easy, I am only requesting you to tell me how many passes does the white team exchange among themselves. Is it all right? Understood? Yes or no? Yes. So how many passes does the white team make among themselves? All right? Huh?
The team in white left.
Huh? Okay, how many say 12? Anybody 12? 1, 2. How many say 11? 1. How many say 13? Okay, 5 of you who say 13 stand up. Any 5? Any 5 who say, because I thought I'll give a prize. I thought maybe only one will say 13, but there are a number of you. So I'm saying any 5 who have said 13, please stand up. I'll ask another question. Anyway, stand up. What is there? You're not losing. This is not failing or passing. No? Stand up, please. Some of the girls also. I want an equal share. Okay. So you're sure there were 3 to 5. So now it is a competition among these 5 people. Luckily, 3 of them are sitting in the front row and 2 of them are sitting on the second row. So they cannot say that they could not see. What else did you see in the screen? No. Beyond the exchange of balls, who among you 5 saw beyond the mixing, beyond the exchanging of passes? Who among you saw a tall, dark, deer, भालू के तरह देखने का आदमी who comes, does moonwalking and goes away? No, you are not on the first floor. You didn't get up, no? You didn't get up. Huh? Any one of you 5 saw that? No. How come? There is somebody who comes, does moonwalking and goes away. Huh? Yes? लगा कुछ? नहीं, इसमें तो he's not there. Did you see? Now you can pay. Please look at the video now. Yeah,
Answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
So how did you miss it? Huh? How did you miss it? You're not looking for it. But he is so, that is what is very important. In today's time, if you don't have a 360 vision, you will concentrate on something and forget what the life is about. You have to have a 360-degree vision. This is how we are not able to achieve many of our goals. Because we get aligned to something. Today we are aligned to mobile phones. 3 hours, 4 hours. People proudly say that 3-4 hours they are spending on mobile phone. For what? That fellow is not adding any value. You are only paying to the advertisements. They want you to actually look at that. The whole job of the mobile phone operators is to ensure that you keep on logged on to something or the other. So they are winning and you are losing. So he's like the big events in life is like that bear. He will come and go and you will not be able to notice because you are not focusing. What did the test say? It was a test of? It was a test of awareness. I just converted it into a test of counting. But the video said very clearly it is a test of awareness. Awareness means you are aware of whatever is going on. SDGs are also like this. They will be there for you to attempt and they will not be there. So until and unless you make a conscious effort, it will not happen. The youth of the country has to get into, if we have to reach the SDG targets, if not by 2030, at least by 2050 or 2059, and life will become good. Thank you very much. This video is on the YouTube. You can play it and see, run it for other people. But this we do as a test of awareness, where he comes and goes, and he is quite a prominent figure, but you miss him because you are not aware. Thank you very much. I finished early than what I was required.
Thank you, sir. We are incredibly grateful for the time you spent with us. Your talk was powerful and stimulating. It's time to thank the one who spent every minute for the cause of creating wisdom in the minds of youth. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. M. Revati, Head Department of Mathematics, to deliver the word of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of KPR College of Arts, Science and Research, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this national level congress on role of higher educational institutions in SDGs. At the outset, I thank our resource person, Dr. Sandip, Ghose, former director, NISM Mumbai, for sharing his insightful thoughts. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And we are sure that all our young minds will sprout with the things what you have told today, sir. I thank our management. I thank our management for constantly supporting us in all the nook and corner. I thank our principal, Dr. P. Geeta, for being the catalyst that stimulated us to do our best. I thank our CE, Dr. S. Balaswamy sir, for standing as pillars of strength, rendering his tremendous effort in contributing his 5 days Congress. I thank IQAC and CDC team for their timeless and tireless effort. I thank all the deans, HODs, teaching and non-teaching fraternity, and also the young buds of KPR class. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.